really hoping Stanky Leg comes by today. We can wax him and party. I want to party.
But I just couldn't get a fucking clear shot.
This stuff's all fixable. Yeah, I can get another cave, you know.
Yeah.
But
That's a nice
yesterday,
direction to your own
before I went to
I tried.
I thought it was right to climb in.
Our story begins in the fall of 2020. We started collecting trail camera videos of a buck that had a very obvious leg deformity. We ended up naming the buck Stanky Leg. As late season rolled around, he was almost always in the presence of another buck on our farm we called Dad's Buck. These two bucks ended up spending the entire winter and the next spring and summer together. And we got to watch them feed together almost every single night in a local bean field. The jump in antler size Stanky made in 1 year's time was almost astonishing. And by the beginning of the rut, he had shot up the hit list to number 2. And I just happened to glance over to my left shoulder, and there was a doe moving through the woods good, and then right behind her was Stanky Leg. And he got to 40 yards, but I couldn't move because the fawn was underneath my tree here, as you saw in the video. They were behind me here 40 yards, and they just kept heading east. I was not able to get any video. I grunted, I snort wheezed, and I rattled to try to pull him back, and I thought I saw a deer coming back, but with all these blackbirds and squirrels, it's kind of hard to decipher what's a deer and what's not with these shadows. So. And then Stanky Leg came out. He'd been all over my cell cams, all over the farm, and then he ended up coming out. Even though my last picture of him was heading the opposite direction, half an hour later he pops out in this field. Too dark for camera light, unfortunately. Chased some does around for a while. Alright guys, I got about 10 minutes of camera light left. And I was finally able to get some video of Stanky Leg. He's out feeding the beans at about 200 yards right now. 3 other deer out there. He's on a mature doe and she's not closing the gap, so I'm gonna try to snort wheeze him. I've already tried grunting at him a bunch and he looked over one time, but I'm gonna try to snort wheeze him and see if it gets any reaction. Tonight's plan is very simple. We had a wind coming out of the west. We know Stanky was in here earlier today, and he's been feeding in a field to the west all week. So at least the does that he's been following have been feeding in those fields. And we're hoping with this west wind that he comes up, heads that way, and we can cut him off. And he's my number 2 hit list buck, which everyone wants to kill their number 1, but it's just not always possible. I've been able to do it the last 2 years, but I'm very blessed and I'm very lucky. So to be able to do it 3 years in a row would be impossible. All right, guys, back at the shop here, November 9th. Just got done with the evening hunt. My plan worked just about perfectly. I had Stanky for the 4th time in front of me while hunting since November 1st. And every single time he's had a doe with him, and he's been locked on her. And for the 2nd time, I threw everything I had at him. I was grunting, I was snort wheezing. I was trying to do anything I could to get him to turn and just come investigate. And he looked back once again. I know the video probably shows it, but he looked back and then just kept following his doe. I mean, he's had a harem of does with him all fall, and I can't break him free. But the plan almost worked. He came in from the south, cut into the wind of the west. I was facing the west. He was upwind. No way he could have winded me, but he just a little bit too far out. It was about 75 yards, so I needed him to be about 40 closer. But I'm going to go back out in the morning on the 10th and try for him again. I mean, it's all you can do at this point. Hunting's been a lot of fun when you're seeing bucks like this every hunt, and getting some good footage and just having these interactions with mature bucks. It's a lot of fun. So I'll be back out in the morning. All that. The number 2 buck that I was hunting all season, Stanky, he got killed just across the street from where I'm sitting right now by our neighbor Bob. Very deserving of a good deer, and I'm happy for him that he was able to kill one of our higher end hit list bucks that we have in the area. That same night, ironically enough, my number 1, who we have not seen from stand and we've got only on camera a handful of times, and only in this field, except for one random instance, made an appearance in daylight right out here in front of me where I'm sitting now. So I'm all in on my #1 buck right now.
I don't know. I was
Hold him for a little bit.
unreal. And we didn't know who it was. Phil and I were looking at pictures and pulled up Hightower. I said, it's not Hightower. He was laying in a Stanky Leg. And we were like, man, that's a damn good buck that showed up. And I rolled him over to gut him, and I go, oh shit. And Phil's like, what? I said, look at his leg. He goes, what do you mean? I said, look at his leg. I said, it's Stanky.
They're all excited to cook something.
I mean, I shot the last 2 that are back there, so you deserve one every once in a while.
He's got good mass.
Got really good mass. I 100% would have shot him. I was trying. No hesitation on that one either.
He had a couple arrows.
Shit, he might outscore Hightower with his mass.
So I'm saying Hightower's definitely taller, but Hightower's mass is like that arrow. That's Hightower's mass compared to this.
Yeah, you always got to do a little spark though.
Well, this would be
On these, it's halfway.
Halfway in between,
Yeah.
right. Correct. And then these little buggers actually count.
Yeah, that'll count. I don't know.
That one does too.
Does it?
Yeah, barely. It's 1 inch.
Isaac.
We call him a 10.
Yeah, we could call him a 10. Isaac, he just actually bought the Boone and Crockett book, the study book or whatever, like the guidebook.
I went to the class for that. I use the app now. Have you seen the app on the phone?
No,
It's
we just have Matt Spaniel, who's good at numbers. Write this shit down.
They have an app now. You just punch the numbers in. They do it all for you.
15, 6, 8.
Having all 4 of those fucking does heads popped up. Okay. Second, something's behind me. He walked fucking right underneath. Well, it would have been this way, right underneath and around to behind that fucking thick shit. It wouldn't come out.
I've never seen a more like told ya. And that's not including that inch. He didn't give it to you, did he?
His story was pretty
Yeah.
What did
good.
he score? 5 minutes. Didn't fucking win.
130.
38 and 4/8.
It's the same. He scored.
How much?
138 and 4/8.
That's exactly what I scored.
Really? I'm just sitting there.
That's a big fucking 8-ball.
Damn.
Big 8-ball.
Now you're salty.
Rumor-
Now Caleb's
hey,
like, fuck.
Rumor is,
20 miles
Cheers.
an hour.
cheers. Rumor is that Arnold was 168.
It was like every day.
No way.
That's the rumor.
No way.
Yeah, I'm like sitting out.
No way.
They'll be 142.
That's the rumor.
If I would have known that.
We'll find out from Alex. We'll find out.
No problem.